humanity is flawed. This is something that everyone knows, but what does it mean? Does it mean that we are all monsters? Does it mean that we are doomed creatures made to fail? Does it mean that we are nothing? When I hear humanity is flawed, I don't think about anyone except me. In my mind, what makes humanity flawed is our thoughts. Without thinking, we would never question ourselves. We would never wonder who we are meant to be. We would simply just exist. We do think, and because of this, we allow our fears, our insecurities, our shame, our self-doubt to destroy what we could become, or who we are. We allow social pressures, thoughts of others, and unreasonable expectations from people, from family, from ourselves, to dictate what kind of life we live. Because of this pressure, we truly never exist, constantly trying to adapt to the world and never forming into anything, leaving us open to hate from others and our own insecurities, never being defined by ourselves, but just the actions that others see, forming us into something we never were meant to become, leaving us hopeless for change and happiness. So we find ourselves looking for fleeting moments of this happiness, to fill ourselves with something of substance, to feel something at all. Now, what does this have to do with villains? Well, after I made my Whiplash video, which you guys should totally watch because absolutely no one watched it, I realized how much I enjoyed looking at villains. And after really thinking about it and trying to find the root of my fascination, I found out that I really liked looking at villains because of their flaws. If you've watched this channel at all, you know most of my videos are character analysis, which often explore the character's flaws and how they often struggle with them and overcome them. Like and subscribe, by the way, I really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. Villains are the same, very flawed humans who try to overcome their flaws, but with one major difference. Villains don't see their weaknesses as a problem, but as a direction. Heroes and villains both start off in similar ways, but what makes them different is the people around them and the way they react to their own weakest parts of themselves. Most heroes have a rough life. Peter Parker's parents are dead, Steve Rogers lost his parents and is just born weak, and Batman loses his parents. These characters have horrible things happen to them, yet because of their loved ones in their life, guiding them and showing them love, they don't become evil. Villains don't get that. They often have no one in their corner, and if they do, they may be playing into their worst fears. Heroes will know pain and not want anyone else to experience it. And villains will see their pain as the reason why they are stronger. I categorized a few different types of villains and want to talk about them with you. These are the villains that aren't evil, just people who are hurt and don't know any other way of living. These are the villains that you often see get redemption arcs. Your Vegetas, your Zuko, your Itachis, your Megamind, your Grinch, your Loki, your Eddie Brock. These are characters that are often hurt and confused or manipulated, or through other circumstances are made evil. They aren't bad, but just hurt, broken people, and when they meet people who care about them and love them and show them that there's another way of living, they often realize their own flaws and weaknesses and change. These type of villains are my favorite to watch and read because they remind me that there's always a choice. We always have a choice on who we could be. These are the characters who got consumed by others and their perspectives, forced to lean into their beliefs and never really finding out who they are for themselves. Then when presented by the opportunity to change, they do. And these people aren't bad, and they really do represent the whole, just because they're a bad guy doesn't mean they're a bad guy. These characters are often the most evil of evil. They are presented with the chance to change and refuse it, even doubling down in their ideals and making others beneath them, believing that making others suffer and feel weak like they once did, or they were just born evil and do it just because they can, having no remorse for anybody. They don't care about anything else. They just do what they do because they can and they like it. I think of Doflamingo, Judge Holden, Joker, Dark Sidious, Carnage, Reverse Flash, Majin Buu, Frieza, Bill Cipher, and Griffith. These characters are cruel and downright evil, and sometimes I just like it when my villains are evil. There's nothing good about them, they don't really care about being good, and it just allows me to shut my brain off and just kind of enjoy this pure good versus evil. These are characters who have an idea about how the world and things should be. And because of their ideologies, they choose to do things that are conflicting with the world. They don't see themselves as villains, but as doing the thing that must be done. And the characters that come to mind are Thanos, Sinestro, Lex Luthor, Madara, Doctor Doom, Light, and Magneto. I like the complexities of these characters and how they sometimes can have you questioning in what you believe, and sometimes you just outright agree with them. And that's the reason why I think these more complex and more ideology conflicting characters are so interesting, because it makes you sit back and really analyze what you believe and whether or not what you believe is the correct choice, or whether or not these people might be onto something else. And honestly, having those conversations and those thoughts in my mind are just really fun, and I think it makes these characters really enjoyable. The reason I really want to start doing these villain videos is because it goes into a deeper idea I've been thinking about a lot, and it's just the fact that the world isn't black and white. Some of these villains are complex and can often go into multiple of these categories, and that's going to be the point of these next couple videos, being on villains. It's a deep dive and acknowledgement that the world isn't as simple as people think. People aren't as simple, people aren't these one-note villains, these monsters. We all have flaws, failures, weaknesses. We all do things that we aren't proud of, and we have all felt pain. So I won't judge people on their worst days and their worst moments, but on what they choose to do next. You define what you are, and if you judge others, then you are like those who have judged you. We should all give others a chance to change, a chance to grow, and stop judging people. Because we feed into these expectations, we feed into the world of voices, and we make the pressure. That pressure we feel, those times where we feel judged, those times that we feel behind, or in our worst moments we feel this sense of anxiety and fear and thoughts, and we have all these voices in our head. When you judge someone else, remember that you're feeding into all those things that have haunted you. When we judge, we try to define others. We take away the chance for people to change. So remember that next time you hate on someone, or you judge someone, that the person has feelings and they've felt pain and they've struggled. So don't feed into the world's hate. Be the reason someone smiles again. Be the reason someone wants to change for the better, and be the reason someone wants to live again. And make sure that no one else has a bad day, because that's what heroes do. I'm just tired of seeing everybody get hated on, and I'm tired of everyone having this sense of pressure on themselves because of the world and just everything down on them. Learn to care about others again. Learn to care about yourself. So I'm really excited about these upcoming videos, because I think that the villains are often misunderstood, misjudged, and not necessarily always bad. But there are bad people. I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm just saying that the more you try to understand someone, the less villains you realize are in the world. I'm excited about these next coming videos. Thanks for watching, guys.